So, what a time to be alive, huh? I mean, my goodness, it seems like at least 3 times a week I hear about disruptive technology and game-changing technology, and it's just amazing. I think I need a clicker here. Yes. So, basically, again, I am in awe of the rapid pace of integration and innovation that we're seeing in today's society. Psychologist Nicholas Humphrey says that there's a biological benefit to being awestruck, right? To be awakened to what is or what could be. We have the ability and the tools to change the world in the palm of our hands. This free exchange of ideas and information that allow us to stand on the shoulders of one another to create a better solution, a compound solution, so we can truly transcend our boundaries. So we're at a time, again, where the impossible seems to be possible. I mean, we're pretty much transcending these boundaries on a daily basis. And one of my favorite futurists, Jason Silva, says ideas are powerful because they allow us to see the world as it could be rather than what it is. So I'm going to share a short video with you of Jason Silva, and you'll find out why he's one of my favorite futurists.
2, 1, 0.
I am very much an optimist. I'm reminded of Rich Doyle's line from Darwin's Pharmacy. He says, dreams do not lack reality. They are real patterns of information. Or when the Imaginary Foundation says that the role of human imagination is to conceive of all these delightful futures, choose the most amazing, exciting, and ecstatic possibility, and then pull the present forward to meet it. That is what we do. We bring our imaginings into existence. But I think that as technology has advanced, we have found ways to outsource our mental capacities to our tools so much more. Our ability to manipulate the physical world has increased in an exponential fashion. So we've been able to shrink the lag time between our imaginings and their instantiation in the real world. David Deutsch speaks in his new book, The Beginning of Infinity. He says, if you look at the topography of the island of Manhattan today, that topography is a topography in which the forces of economics and culture and human intent have trumped the forces of geology. I mean, the topography of Manhattan today is no longer shaped by mere geology. It's shaped by the human mind and by economics and by culture. And so what David Deutsch extrapolates is that ultimately that will be the fate of the whole universe. He says gravitation and antimatter might only shape the universe at its earliest and least interesting stages, but eventually the whole entire thing will be subject to the intent of substrate-independent, infinitely more powerful minds. And to conceive of that, just, it makes me feel ecstatic.
That's
Me
true.
too.
You know, thank you.
Wait, stop
I do
it.
feel ecstatic when I contemplate these
There we go.
possibilities. Just
So that's why I think Jason Silva is an incredible futurist, because he has such a beautiful way of articulating the potential to contemplate the complexities of the universe and then spin them in a way that excites people. It gets people to think of the future in a positive way. And so I'm somewhat of a philosopher, and I love technology. And so when you combine those two things together, it's poetry. So again, we're at a stage right now where we're seeing a dance with mind and matter, and it's amazing. I mean, we have the ability to create a concept and turn it into reality, and we can now perceive patterns from the micro to the macro. So basically, the human being has the ability to transcend the boundaries of the human eye, which can only see 5% of what's truly makes up our universe, the actual matter. So what we've done is transcend that boundary with technology that gives us the ability to use microscopes and telescopes to mainline through the optic nerve and really see what's going on. And when we peel back the layers, what we see are these patterns that again show themselves from the micro to the macro. So what you see is a brain cell looks like the universe, right? The death of a star looks like the birth of a cell. The cornea of the eye looks like a nebula cloud. So these are the type of patterns that we see that once we can perceive these patterns, we can use them to our own ends to create a more beautiful future. Soon, Star Trek, and most of you guys know Star Trek, and some of the younger generations have heard of it, which is funny. But you know, I used to love Star Trek, and I used to think, wow, this is really, this is amazing. I think that they have it figured out. I thought Star Trek was the past, not the future. But we're in a convergence where we're seeing, you still have the indigenous tribes, hunter-gatherers, and you have now high technology, and we're able to travel back and forth from the moon, and we're working on Mars, and we have space stations, and all that is converging into a time right now. So we're just at an amazing time. Again, with the Star Trek, you're looking at Star Trek going from a sci-fi to a documentary. And this is a perfect example. Peter Diamandis did something called the X Prize. And I believe the prize maybe was $5 or $10 million, but the goal was to create the tricorders. Anybody remember the tricorder? Where they were able to take the statistics of the body and able to see what's going on and ultimately heal it. They've created the tricorder. That's how close we are, okay? You know, we talk about the ability to contemplate space and time, but we are at the point where we can contemplate space and time just shy of the infinite. So it's, again, I'm extremely excited about where we're at, and these advancements are giving us the ability, the possibility, soon enough to where man will have the choice of either being born or made. And that's a subject that we could probably have a few beers over. So we're breaking through these barriers of progress like a mirage in the desert. I mean, they're disappearing. When I was coming up, I felt like there were a lot of things that, a lot of barriers that I couldn't get around. I felt society wasn't ready for this technology. Infrastructure, you know, wasn't ready to accelerate into the next generation. And these barriers were, you know, it's hard to point a finger at where they came from, but I see these barriers falling every day and at a rapid pace, and that excites me. So everybody's heard of Moore's Law, and if you haven't, it's basically technology accelerates twice the speed and half the cost every 2 years. So Moore's Law is an incredible concept of exponential growth, and our brains are kind of hardwired to think linear. I take 1 step, I take 2 steps, I take 3 steps, I've gone 3 feet. Exponential is doubling every number. So I can take 30 steps, and I will be at 1 billion feet. And our brains aren't really hardwired to understand that exponential curve, but we're getting there. We're evolving. We're basically outgrowing our linear brain. So with this convergence of technology, no technology is seeing a more revolutionizing curve than biotech. So Moore's Law is incredible. It's the exponential, but biotechnology started off 13 years ago. We could sequence genomes. 13 billion genomes would cost us about $100 million. Today it's less than 10,000. That is Moore's Law times 3. That is significant advancements. 13 years. So again, there's a convergence of AI, VR, AR, and biotech. As you can see on the slide here, you've got the virtual reality and augmented reality actually working to help solve problems. They can, you know, of course, artificial intelligence can calculate and solve problems based off of data a lot faster than the human brain. So this convergence is really starting to compound its impact. We're able to compound these technologies to create a better solution. Smartphones, healthcare, the smartphone healthcare is predicted to exceed over 100 billion by 2022. So a doctor and a cell phone. You're able to, take pictures, as you can see on the slide there. Looks like they're looking at a melanoma possibly, to be able to visually download, or with the cell phone or with sensors and so on and so forth. We're able to get the information that we need in the palm of our hands to be able to do things that we weren't able to do 5-10 years ago. So it's amazing to see these advancements, and a $100 billion industry by the year 2022 is astounding. So again, we're at this point where we're on a course to master our biosoftware. What's that mean? That means that we may be able to eliminate genetic mutations and write our own hardware upgrades. That would mean that we would be able to extend longevity. Who knows? Death may be a choice in the future. It's hard to say, but when you're talking about Moore's Law times 3, anything is possible. So where is the bottleneck happening right now? I think the bottleneck is happening in integration, okay? So we need to find economically viable ways to take this technology and integrate it into our lives. So corporations and governments are using this technology, but how does it translate to us? We have to find the ways to compound this technology and integrate it into our lives to where it can improve. We can create more free time for ourselves. We can compound our thoughts, solutions, and efforts and really maximize our potential. So what we need to do, before I get to that, this slide is really important because this just goes to show you the mentality of innovation and how wrong we are, how wrong we were in the past. So the commissioner of the U.S. Patent Office in 1899 said that his one of the most famous quotes was that everything that can be invented has been invented. And as you can see, he was extremely wrong. This is an opportunity for us to take a look at what has been innovated and find new ways to integrate that technology. Find new ways to compound that technology. Don't be discouraged because somebody came up with an idea that you had 2 years ago that you didn't act on. Find a way to make that technology better. Find something that complements it. If it doesn't pencil out, find something that does. Combine it. Create platform technologies that solve big problems. And I think that that's where we're going today. And if I had one message for our youth, it would be innovate, but do not forget to integrate. Thank you so much.